important this was. Ivanka listened to everything I had to say and felt the same way I did. She connected me with her husband, Jared Kushner, who was passionate about criminal justice reform and believed in Alice's case. There was only one way to get Alice out of prison. She had to be granted clemency, which meant I had to go directly to the only person who has the power to grant Alice the second chance she deserved, the president. And I had to be prepared. It took about 6 months to get all of Alice's files together, and we waited patiently to be given a date when we could visit the White House to meet with President Trump and tell Alice's story. When we finally got a date, it ended up being rescheduled, and the new date fell on Alice's birthday. I felt like this had to be a good sign. This was Alice's day. She was all that mattered, and I wasn't going to let her down. The day arrived, and as we sat in the Oval Office with the president and told him Alice's story, I felt empowered by the atmosphere in this room. It's an amazing feeling to sit in a place that has so much history, where momentous decisions are made that impact an entire nation. If it's possible to feel both overwhelmed and serene at the same time, that's how I felt. An overwhelming sense of serenity, I guess you could say. I was exactly where I was meant to be, in that place, at that time. I left the White House feeling happy and hopeful. I wasn't told how long it would take before a decision would be made, just that I would get a call from the president when the time came. About a week later, I was at a photo shoot in New York when I got the call. I held my breath as President Trump told me his decision. He was granting her clemency. Miss Alice was going home. But the best moment was yet to come. I got on a call right away with the attorneys, and they called the prison to connect Alice to the call. I assumed that Alice's attorneys had given her the good news before I joined the call. But when she picked up the phone, I could tell by the sound of her voice that she didn't know yet. 21 years, and I wasn't going to let her spend another second in that cell. "We did it, Alice. You're out." On the other end, I heard Alice scream. The sound of joy, amazement, relief, hope, grace, all at once. That moment will forever be one of my favorite memories. Alice's story has inspired me more than I ever thought possible. Too often we are discouraged because we think something will be too challenging, or that an idea is too crazy, or the chance of success too rare. Miss Alice found herself in a position where most of us would have felt completely hopeless. But in spite of it all, she stayed positive, used her time to support others, and most important, never gave up hope. I took that with me throughout my journey to free Alice, and I take that with me every day with everything I do. Thank you, Miss Alice, my dear friend, my inspiration, my family. You have helped me find an incredible new sense of purpose, and I am so grateful for that. You have helped create change that will impact others, and have inspired and encouraged me to continue on my journey to do the same. Kim Kardashian West. Chapter 1. I sat up in my bunk at Federal Medical Center, Carswell, a prison in Texas. It was a Saturday, and we still had an hour or two before we had to stand in our cell to be officially counted by the guards. There were 2 bunks in each overcrowded cell, housing 4 women in a space designed for 2. I left my bunk area and walked down to my friend's cell. "Josette," I whispered at the door. We weren't allowed to walk into each other's cells, and I didn't want to disturb her roommate. "I need to talk to you. Can you step out here?" She looked up from her bunk, which she was making up. Instead of finishing, she turned and put on her slippers and came to me. We frequently walked through the atrium together, on the way to the microwave or just to stretch our legs. She and her sister Tracy were in prison, but I never pried about how they ended up there. It's rude to ask people.